We love you.
He's throwing a wrench in it because he knows I'm already nervous about being in front of this bunch
You'll
of people.
be fine.
It's right here with you a little now.
No, no.
Don't read the note though.
I just want to thank everybody for coming tonight. Tonight is a celebration, and it's fine to celebrate success, but it's only possible if we heed the lessons of failure. My family was a typical North Shore family. We were middle class. Both my parents worked, and like most families, they worried about me and my older brother, especially during that critical time from 2 to 6. That's how we found out about the clubs. A place for any child, from any family, of any means, where they could learn to be an adult and for the cost of only $25 a year. $25 a year, and you could send your child and know that they're safe. When I tell you I loved the club, I truly loved it. I know I don't look like it now, but I would sprint to the club after work, after school, I'm sorry, and I would help Donna with any volunteer project, and then send her a thank you note for helping her. The club was everything to me, and it did help me to become an adult. My very first job came at the club. I remember Donna vividly saying, "Christine, you're old enough to work behind the front desk." I was the very first youth of the year. Fortunately, they were supposed to have a picture of me from that right up here, but they couldn't blow it up. And I'm very thankful for that right now. The problem is, that wasn't the case for my older brother. That's us. My older brother was my best friend. My guardian. And he meant the world to me. I remember when any kid would pick on me or bully me, he'd be sure to make it stop. We did everything together. But unfortunately, he didn't find the admin at the club. I would go to the club, he would lie, he would go to our friend's house. I would never tell. He was my older brother. I'd tell my mom all the exciting stuff I did at the club. And he'd tell my mom, "Oh, I left early. I went to go play ball with my friends." There was never a reason to worry. He did well in school. Both my parents were on top of him. He was a great football player. He did so many things right. Unfortunately, he also did drugs. He started with marijuana, then pain medication, then the worst. My parents did everything that they could do. They remortgaged their house 3 times to try to get him out. Eventually, we were told the only way to help him was to cut him off. We stayed in touch, phone calls, emails, but we weren't as close as we used to be. And years later, on Christmas Eve, we didn't hear from him. We left messages, he didn't respond. It wasn't too unusual, but it definitely wasn't normal. As vividly as I remember those fun experiences at the club, I vividly remember the phone ringing as I was playing with my son Ryan. I remember my heart dropping to my stomach because I just knew. Something in me just told me. I hadn't answered yet. But when I answered, my dad just said, "You need to come home. You need to come home now." I remember getting to my parents. I remember my mom pounding the table, pacing back and forth and sobbing uncontrollably, telling us, "It can't be true. It's not him. It can't be him." I remember the overwhelming sadness. My guardian had just become my guardian angel. And while I'm sure he's protecting me from heaven, I wish he was here instead. The fact is, we failed him. Our community failed him. Our clubs failed him. Because if he had that same experience at the club that I did, if he spent the afternoons at the club, if he got mentored, got involved in any of the programs, and did any of this, he may have taken a different path. So, that's why I'm on the board today. That's why this organization decided to build teen centers for young, impressionable teenagers who are most likely to start using drugs. We did it because teens like my brother, who start smoking marijuana in 7th grade, and many professionals comment that if we can help them be drug-free until high school, there's a much greater chance that they'll never use. That's why we started our mentoring program for kids of all ages. We did it because if teens like my brother had someone to confide in, who was a positive influence, they could have told him not to use. That's why we're expanding into robotics, girls' self-esteem programs, anti-bullying campaigns, financial literacy projects, and much more. Yes, it will create better adults, but for those most vulnerable, for the Rogers out there, it will save their life. Tonight we're celebrating serving over 1,000 kids, expanding new programs, raising new revenues, but we can only celebrate that because when it came to my brother, we failed. So make sure everything we do tonight do not fail again. And please donate. Make sure there are no more Rogers out there.